Greetings and welcome to episode 241 of the Words About Games podcast, a weekly news and culture podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by Mr. Daffy Mark Moody. How you doing?
It's Friday. You definitely know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I am all right, Amy. The week's moving along now. They're starting to speed up a little bit and everything. But no, yeah, I am not bad. How has your week been so far?
Yeah, it's been alright. I'm trying to remember what I did. And the answer is honestly not a lot. We played Phasmophobia last night. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just usual Phasmophobia shit, you know. You weren't there, but Avril still just abandoned me every chance she got. But Foxes was there, so it was fine because he's brave.
Somebody's brave. He's just played it so many times. His level's so high. He's just like, I know about this shit. I know what to do. he's like a mafia boss for it. Like, it's like, I'm gonna give this ghost an invitation he'll never forget, or whatever the hell.
Whatever the quote is.
Yeah.
From The Godfather, one of the greatest movies of all time. You know, just
apparently I've never seen it. I can't comment on them.
Wow, that's
yeah.
That's
person who did a movie podcast, never seen arguably one of the greatest, two of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah, I've never seen them. I own them.
That wasn't where I was going with it. I was literally just going to be going with, wow, I've seen a movie and you haven't.
Cool.
That's never happened before.
That we know of.
I mean, there's probably tons of movies that I've seen that you haven't. Yeah. But like when we've talked about movies, it's always either been we've both seen it or you've seen it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is the first time it's ever been Amy's seen a movie that Moody hasn't, and I just want to sit with that for a second. Finally happened.
So this is what it feels like.
This is what it feels like.
And yeah, I know quotes from the movie still.
Yeah, well, it's like Phil knowing enough about Star Wars to be able to like play our Among Us Star Wars themed game without ever actually having seen Star Wars.
Like seriously, like Godfather, I can understand. It's a critically acclaimed film, but it's not a pop culture film. Star Wars is ingrained into people's DNA. How the hell is that person not? How has Phil not seen that? Phil, come on, like, what's up with that? What's up?
Don't shame people for not seeing films, Moody. Otherwise, I'll have to get the fuck out of here too, because you know I haven't seen a lot of films.
But you've seen Star Wars, so it's all right.
I've seen Star Wars. Yeah. I have a complicated relationship.
I'm joking, like, seriously. Phil's awesome. It's always a fun time when we play Among Us and everything like that. So
Saturday nights are my fave. Not gonna lie.
Saturday nights are fun. I won't deny that.
I one upped you. I know we talked about this before we started recording, but I just want to put it out there on the podcast as a gauntlet almost to see what you do next. Or it's like week 1, I followed through on a New Year's resolution to make some sort of effort to look okay on the podcast. Week 2, you came back at me with the nice shirt. And I couldn't let that stand. So week 3, this week now, I've gone even harder, Moody. And the gauntlet's down now. Like you gotta one up that.
Yeah. So basically, it's a shirt and tie next week for me, is it?
It's a shirt and tie for you next week, and then a suit full of shit. Yeah, it's just leave yourself room and go, because this could go on for a while. By December, I'll probably look like ContraPoints.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's like another silly competition that me and Mooney do on the podcast. It's gonna be sad. I just thought it was funny. I didn't do this because of that. I just did it because I felt like it. I sat down and I was like, I've got 50 minutes until the podcast starts. Which isn't long enough to play a game. And I didn't really want to watch anything, because then I'd be like, it would like just finishing as we were about to start and have to rush around again. And I was just like, you know what? This'll do. And I just did this.
It's like the film Babe, the pig film. That'll do, pig. That'll do. So it's for you. It's that'll do, Amy. That'll do.
Like I mean, I just want to myself. I just want to use some of this stuff. We don't get to go out anymore, Moody.
That's true. Like, yeah. And when we do, we're only allowed out for so much.
The only time I can make myself look nice is for this podcast and the other podcast.
Oh God, we're literally in prison, aren't we? Just we can get to go out. We get to choose when to go out, not the prisoners. Who, no offense to them. No, well, actually, screw them. Don't get to choose when they get to go out. Basically,
Pretty much.
two of them.
Poor everyone at the moment. But hey ho, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about video games.
Are we really?
Apparently.
For this first part, are we really? I have to ask this.
Look, right, it says on the thing on YouTube, you know,
What?
we talk about
Game.
the biggest news in gaming. Ain't no bigger news than this.
Yeah. You know that favorite thing that both me and Amy are split on most of the time, but we always are very respectful. Yeah, let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Money, capitalism.
Capitalism gone wild.
Seriously wild, and I haven't even researched all of it properly.
No, I was reading about it today. Guess that's one of the things I did this week. But anyway, in this week's episode, we discuss Reddit traders going to war with billion-dollar hedge fund operators and the current fallout, allegations of hostile work environment at Scavengers Studios, and more. There's timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube and in the description of the audio podcast, wherever you happen to get that. We're on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, all the ones that I don't remember. I just clicked yes to everything, basically.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not gonna say. I'm not
Don't
gonna
ask.
No.
Don't ask. We're not on Google. Google have heard the things I've said about them in the past, and we're like, nope, nope,
Yeah,
not doing
it's
that.
like so. Amy, a kid, Alexander. What has she said about Google? They Googled that in Google.
They did. Wouldn't have taken long to find
Yeah.
anti-Google sentiment, shall we say?
So that's probably created a Wikipedia. Amy Kate Alexander, a staunch hater of Google.
Yeah, Amy K. Alexander. Well, she's got a Chromebook and she likes her Chromebook. Wait, what's this underneath? Ah. Shall we dive right into the first story of the night?
Like I said, if I'm asleep by the end of this, don't be surprised.
Well, I posted a meme on Twitter yesterday night of like a preview, sarcastically saying like a preview of this podcast, and like I might use it as the thumbnail of this video because it accurately sums up. I think it accurately sums up the situation, but I think it also accurately sums up our knowledge base of the situation.
Hell yeah.
Which is,
Hell yeah.
yeah, GameStop's stock market explosion explained. This is from Owen S. Good over at Polygon, who writes, American stock markets are in a lather. Little guy investors are supposedly cratering billion-dollar hedge funds. Reddit, social media, and now Elon Musk are involved. And somehow, this is all for GameStop, the beleaguered video games retailer notorious for giving gamers pennies on the dollar for their used software. It's very hard to recap what's going on with GME, the ticker symbol that has become a hashtag, because the news on a volatile stock market changes instant to instant. The most important thing to understand about GameStop and short selling is that this is now a very high-stakes gambling table with theoretically infinite losses that for some big players are becoming very real. So real, in fact, that President Biden's economic team and US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen are monitoring the situation, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Wednesday. GameStop share price, which closed on Tuesday at $147.98, it's gone over $300 on Wednesday, isn't any reflection of its health or value as a company. It's a reflection of a war between retail investors, individual day traders or regular people, and institutional investors, big Wall Street firms. Hedge funds, supposedly the professionals, have been betting against GameStop's stock using a trading technique called short selling. Day traders organizing under the subreddit r Wall Street Bets are holding on to shares of GameStop that they own, despite skyrocketing values that have made some of them millions of dollars on paper to stick it to the hedge funds. The battle began in earnest last week when our Wall Street Bets realized that its users, who had bought into the stock when the supposed smart money was shorting it, effectively controlled the supply of GameStop shares in circulation. Now the banks need to buy that stock to cover the obligations of the short sell bets they have made. The Redditors are refusing to sell. The company's last communication with investors was January 11th, with a January 11th report on its 2020 holiday sales results. Total sales down 3.1% from 2019. On the same day, however, GameStop announced that Ryan Cohn, a well-known investor who bought a 10% stake in the company last fall, had joined the board of directors, along with two of his allies. This caused the initial jump in GameStop's share price as Cohn in November wrote a scathing get your shit together letter to the company's board. Little guy traders loved it, viewing Cohn as a saviour. Investment banks thought that their amateur counterparts were due for a bath and bet accordingly. And then there's a couple of questions. It's like a question and answer section. Really, that's good, isn't it? You might understand the stock market by the end of this. How much?
I doubt it.
How much money have people made? Bear in mind that this is paper wealth and it's fluctuating wildly. But the trading on GameStop, by the way, on Tuesday it was the most traded security in the world, has created about $2 billion in wealth. Most of it for Cohn and the company's two other biggest shareholders. Wall Street Bets Redditors, however, have bragged that their portfolios have skyrocketed into seven-figure territory. Realizing these gains, of course, would require someone to liquidate their shares. GameStop's Cohn is, by definition, in this for the long haul. He bought into the shape the company's direction, and would lose that power if he sold out. And the Redditors are holding onto their shares with reckless YOLO glee, promising to see the stock price soar to the moon, Mars, or other celestial ports of call. How does this end? Short squeezes are a risk at short selling. Sorry, let me try that again. Short squeezes are a risk of short selling and one that institutional investors are prepared to face, but their assumptions are based on normal investor behavior, and what's happening right now is anything but normal. Usually a share price would reach a too good to refuse level and there would be a run to cash in on it. While some people would make a lot of money and others would lose big, the stock would return to a more normal reflection of the company's true value and health. But the meme stock punters of Reddit are refusing pretty much every offer. Moreover, they're turning their attention to other shorted stocks where they can hurt investment bankers and hedge funds. AMC Theatres, BlackBerry, and Bed Bath & Beyond have become primary targets for Wall Street Bets users hoping to force similar gains. Short positions of greater than 50%, that is, where more than half a company's tradable shares have been sold short and aren't covered or closed out, are unusual. GameStop had more shares sold short than were actually in circulation, which is called negative float. Once Wall Street Bets realized GameStop was in negative float, information that is easily obtainable, it started putting the screws to the short sellers by refusing to sell, putting the share price into a kind of positive feedback loop. Is this legal? In a Bloomberg newsletter on Tuesday, Matt Levine wrote, quote, "It might be illegal in all sorts of ways, but it is not obviously illegal. And if the US Securities and Exchange Commission were to go after Wall Street Bets for this stuff, they will be breaking new ground and going beyond their previous cases." End quote. For now, it appears to be well within the rules, such that any exist in a dog-eat-dog capitalist market. That's what's driving a lot of the schadenfreude and popcorn eating on social media. As victims go, it will be hard to find ones less sympathetic than short sellers and hedge funds. A common theme here is mocking institutional investors for being beaten at their own shady game. There is a large lesson still to come about the broadening of access to financial markets. But for the layperson, the best advice probably came from the well-known games industry analyst Michael Pachter last week. Stay away. Quote, "The smart money already got in and probably got out," Pachter told Ars Technica. It's kind of funny, all right. Like, there was a part of a different story I was reading when I was researching this, that there was some hedge investment fund that's apparently lost $2.4 billion because of Reddit.
So basically, Redditors are like saying, we're going to screw with Wall Street and we're going to send this price so high that we're going to refuse to sell until we're ready to sell, until we basically destroy them type of thing. Is that how I think
that's how it's progressed towards. I don't think that's how it started. Yeah. Like, I don't think Reddit. I think there was just a thing on Reddit where it was like, look, GameStop's prices were low, so their stock market price was low. It was in the single figures when this all began, and it's now over like $300. Where it was like $5, I think, like when this all started. And then it was getting a bump because so it was getting a bump because people were short selling it. Which I saved a tweet about this, which was an explanation of what short selling is. Just for this occasion. But then my phone died. So I need to bring it up on my Chromebook. I thought I did. Why have I bookmarked one of my own tweets? I must have done that by accident. Okay, I didn't save it on Twitter. But basically, like, we talked about it last night about how short selling works. And basically, it's stupid. Like, it's so weird. Like, that money just is basically not real. Until it is real.
Yeah. So, okay.
I'll find the thing. You talk.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what any of this really means. I'm just going to be frank and honest, like I said before. Like, this all I hear is numbers. Is it illegal? The new president is looking into it or keeping an eye on it. Could you be going after AMC theaters? Or like, I want AMC theaters, probably a good shot. Try and at least maybe put $1 on if you're sick, depending on what the price is. Try and get some stock, because if all things get back to normal, say within the next year, and AMC is still open, those stocks going to go back up when new films going to start coming back. Theoretically, yeah, it's all theoretical. Yeah, I know that, but yeah, I'm just like.
So short selling is basically what happens is someone has some stocks in GameStop, right, and then one trader in Wall Street will pay to borrow those stocks.
Borrow.
Yeah. And then sell them at that current price. And the idea is they know something that's going to make the stock price go down. So, like, games. Say there was an upcoming scandal involving GameStop, and that this trader knew about but wasn't knowledge yet. So they would pay for the stocks to take the stocks back, and then they would sell them at the current price, wait for the stock value to drop, and then buy the stocks back, but have made a profit when they give them back. Because the difference in the two prices of what they've bought, you know what I mean? The difference in the two prices of what they've bought is that's how much profit they would make. It's pretty fucking shady.
It's shady like hell.
It's shady as fuck. That's the Wall Street experience. And what I love about this, like, is some Redditors just came in and went, nah, fuck that. Like, there's some people on Redditors who are probably, like, theoretically now millionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
On paper.
Whatever they sell, if they decide to sell.
And have decided, on principle, not to sell right now. Because the longer they hold out in selling, the higher the price goes. And then all of these people who have made these short sell bets, essentially, have to buy the stock that they've borrowed to give it back. So they've sold this stock at $5, and they have to give it back, and it's now $300 a share. So if they've, you know what I mean, if they've bought like 100 shares, it's the difference between buying them back for $500 and buying them back for $3 million. Yeah, that's the difference in numbers that we're talking about here, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is crazy. Like I say, I'm not a math person. I don't know anything about this. So, look, I have one question.
I'll see what I can do.
What's Elon Musk got to do with this? How's he involved?
I imagine he tweeted something.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
I think he probably tweeted something in favor of, even though, Elon Musk, GameStop, it's like the first thing that comes up.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. That's the thing about it. I'm so confused with what's going on. Like, so Reddit is like, I don't trust Reddit that much. Like, Reddit, I don't like as a site. I don't trust it. I won't even trust them to be able to open a can of beans. But at the same time, they're showing me that some of them are able to organize to fight Wall Street. We all know Wall Street. Like, I'll say the thing what I said off before we came on air. Wall Street basically breaks a law every 24 hours. Like
Yeah.
24 hours a day, one person there probably would have broken a law that would put them in jail theoretically, but they always get away with it somehow, some way, whatever. I don't
Because
know
they're the money
nannies.
people. They
Hmm?
control the money. So therefore they're
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most powerful people. You know what I mean? Like who controls
yeah.
it's like, The Dark Knight Rises was a shit film that didn't follow through on a lot of its message. But there's that one scene that sticks out on me where Bane goes to the stock market and that one guy's like, please, there's no money here. And then Bane's like, oh, really? Then why are all of you here? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, hell yeah.
Occupy Wall Street had a lot of things to say, and some of them were right.
Yeah. It's okay. So I'm just gonna ask you, dumb it down for. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I
Or
have
is this
no
just, like,
idea. I have absolutely no idea. Like this
it's
is
funny that it's a middle finger to Wall Street, I guess.
I have a sort of a basic grasp of how some of the economy works, but with like this is like much higher level than I'm used to trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I find it really funny because I don't like Wall Street and I am very anti-capitalist. I feel like that's not a secret at this point. So I do find it really funny, and I don't really feel all of that bad that all of these billionaire hedge fund people are losing a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Because they've done this before and probably destroyed companies, which has destroyed people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're now losing at their own game is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah. And like I'll say my piece on this. Like Elon Musk, I don't know what you've done, how you've got involved in this. It might be literally what you said, Amy, is that he's tweeted out or whatever. Why even you were involved in this is like
that's
makes
shady.
no sense to me, because I'm just like, dude, you're the richest man in the world, and if you and the second richest man in the world, Amazon guy, teamed up, you could fix the fucking at least American economy, if not the fucking world economy. So
yeah, right. It's like that's genuinely but that's genuinely how I feel about like people who are like, especially billionaires, but just generally rich people in general.
But
it's like
this thing, most is not just a billionaire; he's a trillionaire.
But you could fix the world, like with the amount of money you've got. Because like, I think
he's trying to escape the world.
I think that one thing that a lot of people don't really realize when people like even talk about people who are billionaires, right? It's just like how astronomically like much money that is, and what they could do with that money.
Yeah.
Like if somebody deposited like £1 million into my bank account tomorrow, right? Like whatever, total fantasy ride, right? It's just like I wake up tomorrow, there's £1 million in my account. Like I could take like less than half of that and just put it to one side and be like, cool, that's me set for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then still have so much more money. You'd be like, cool, what will I do with this?
Yeah, the interest just keeps rolling and rolling, the whole shebang.
It's like I just take the rest of it and I could literally like go on Twitter and find a bunch of trans people who have got GoFundMe's up for medical procedures and medicines and stuff and just fill all of those up. Like I could do that. I could fill so many of them up and still turn around and be like, cool, I'm still set for life.
Yeah.
And that's with 1 million. And when we're talking about a company that just lost like in the one specific example that I saw, 3 billion. So that's like the 1 million that I'm talking about times by fucking shitloads. Like they could have taken all of that money and fixed the world.
So I'm just gonna say it. In 10 years' time, we're going to have a film about this. It's going to be called The Big Short 2.
Meme traders.
The fight back against Wall Street.
Like, I'm fascinated to see how this rolls out because we've got a second news story here. Because there's obviously, as the news story, the explainer news story said, it's very volatile. So a lot of stuff has happened yesterday. Like, we still don't know what's happening today because time differences and whatnot. Because we live in the UK and this is all happening in America. But stuff's happened. I'm going to skip the first paragraph. The headline is, the fallout from GameStop's Wild Wednesday has been ugly. Which is from Patricia Hernandez. Over at Polygon, who writes, first, late on Wednesday night, news broke that chat app Discord banned the Wall Street Bet server, where users gathered to shoot the shit and discuss their stock strategies. In a statement to The Verge, Discord said the ban had nothing to do with potential stock market manipulation, noting that the server was full of hate speech glorifying violence and spreading misinformation. We decided, quote, sorry, this is a quote, we decided to remove the server and its owner from Discord for continuing to allow hateful and discriminatory content after repeated warnings, end quote. While users admit that hate speech appeared on the massive community, they also allege that the chat had measures in place to try and stop it. But since the community was so massive, that was a futile task. As one moderator wrote on Reddit, quote, we blocked all bad words with a bot, which should be enough, but apparently if someone can say a bad word with weird Unicode, Icelandic characters, and someone can screenshot it, you don't get to hang out with your friends anymore, end quote. For a brief while, the subreddit dedicated to this game went private on Wednesday, but as of Thursday morning it's back up. The posts at the moment are largely angry thanks to a new and surprising development. Services like Robinhood and TD Ameritrade have restricted trades for GameStop and other meme stocks, such as AMC Theaters. At the moment, you cannot search for GameStop on Robinhood, nor can you buy shares. You can only close out and sell your shares. The stock prices have remained high compared to where they were a few weeks ago, but they were lower than they have been earlier in the week. As of writing, while prices continue to fluctuate, the GameStop stock appears to be tanking. Robinhood says it did this to tackle market volatility, but users are outraged. Many are pledging to delete the app outright, if not starting to think about a potential class action lawsuit. After all, a stockbroker like Robinhood shouldn't be able to determine what people can or cannot buy. That's the sense that services like Robinhood are trying to protect large financial institutions, which is counter not only to its name, but also its previously stated mission of allowing everyday people to invest in the stock market. Users are now looking into other options and urging each other to continue to hold firm despite the setbacks. Phrases like do not sell and hold the line are currently trending on social media, and they still are, right now. Most of these moves have rested on the shoulders of big tech, but the US government, including President Biden's administration and Senator Elizabeth Warren, is also keeping an eye on the situation, so it's possible we haven't seen the full extent of the fallout just yet. For now, though, it seems that the hijinks around the GameStop stock may be contained compared to the frenzy that unfolded earlier this week. And then there was an update. Politicians are starting to call for government intervention, with progressive congresswomen such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib saying that they would support a hearing in the House of Representatives on Robinhood's decision to restrict GameStop trades. Quote, they're blocking the ability to trade to protect Wall Street hedge funds, stealing millions of dollars from their users to protect people who've used the stock market as a casino for decades, Tlaib wrote on Twitter, commenting on an article estimating that half of all Robinhood users currently own GameStop stock. The concern shares bipartisan support, with senators like Ted Cruz agreeing publicly with Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, I bet that felt weird for him.
I bet that felt weird for everybody involved. That felt weird for me. Just say it.
Oh, God.
But that's where we're at.
Out there is agreeing with the amazing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Future president of the United States, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But
probably one day we'll see.
I hope so.
Who knows?
But yeah. So this all exploded again on Thursday, which is the day we're recording this. Because the app essentially decided to stop people from buying the stock. Like stop people from buying the stock, but traders could still do whatever the fuck they wanted.
That's pretty shitty.
That is pretty shitty because, as is pointed out by Congresswoman Tlaib, like all people on Reddit are doing is just what traders in Wall Street have done for years and decades, and like what it comes off as with the way I imagine traders are talking about this. And the way the way that an app seems to be now trying to protect those traders over essentially its customers is the wrong people are getting rich off of the back of this.
Yep.
The poor people are getting rich now, and it's at the expense of the rich people. We can't have that.
No, we cannot. We cannot have that at all.
So like,
we should have done this like last weekend, you know that? We should have been sewn into this. We could have.
I think about when I found out what was happening, and I think about what the price of GameStop stock was when I saw it, to see what it had been. that example of what I would do with £1 million wouldn't have been a fantasy.
Yep.
I would have
So
known exactly what I'd been doing because I would have had it. But there is the legality question: is this actually illegal? Because no one really knows, because this has never happened before.
by the end of it, they'll say no, but because they would have took so long to figure that out, the people who have done this would have got away with it.
Well,
and everything like that, and they would have probably. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, I've been thinking about this because there's an issue, and okay, I'm not a law person. I know one of my friends IRL is a lawyer, and I also watch Legal on YouTube. So like I think some of the stuff I've learned from them is a bit absorbed.
Yeah,
but I am not an expert. However, they put themselves in a tricky situation. Like, let's say President Biden decides that this is illegal or whatever, or like clamps down it or whatever, and starts going after the day traders, the Reddit meme traders who have made off with billions of dollars of Wall Street money.
Yeah.
Like, anything they do from a legal sense could potentially create a precedent, which might not be in Wall Street's best interest, because you can't, as much as capitalism is shit and built completely against poor people, I don't know necessarily if that precedent can only apply to poor people. Like, it could potentially, anything they do from a legal standpoint could potentially create a legal precedent, which could be used against Wall Street in the future.
Yeah, because anyone who has a small share or any company out there that has a share price that was close to as low as GameSpot, anyone could just basically, if they get a group of people together, like a lot of group of people, because I'm guessing this was more than just 10, 20, 30 bloody people. I'm guessing from Reddit this was a good 100, if not more, to sort this out, to be able to shoot the stock market so high for the GameSpot thing, to be able to do that. Yeah, anyone could really do this if they wanted to, and that's a scary thing to think. But also at the same time, it's
Okay.
why has it took so long type of thing, you know?
Well,
it's amazing that it hasn't why it's took this long to do this. Which is kind of funny.
So I don't know. I can't speak because obviously, the subreddit Wall Street Bets is obviously a lot more famous now than it was a week ago. So I can't speak to what it was beforehand, but it's on. There are 5 million subscribers on Wall Street Bets. And I think they've actually. Hold on. There's a post on the front page that might be relevant. I think the class action lawsuit's going ahead against Robinhood, by the looks of what I've just seen on the front page of the subreddit, to look on and see how many users they have. Like, there's 1.1 million users active on the subreddit right now, as we're recording.
On the Wall Street Bets.
On Wall Street Bets, yeah.
My goodness.
I imagine it's a lot more popular than it was a week ago because of everything that's happened. But
then
yeah,
it's like, we must join it and try and get something out of this type of mentality. Yeah,
it's like, what will happen? Maybe nothing. Maybe they'll just let this play out. Yeah. And some hedge fund companies will lose a lot of money. The fact that would happen if they let it play out makes me think that they're not going to let it play out. But then it's just like, I don't know enough to be able to speculate about what could possibly happen tomorrow. Like, never mind next week or the week after or next month. Potentially another economic crash. Like, I feel like if you go all the way down the line to like what's the worst case scenario, like 2008 could happen again. Because that's just kind of what happens when you build your entire economy on fake money that doesn't exist. That's capitalism. So shall we recreate the meme, right, where we just go the economy and then laugh?
Basically, yeah. That's
Um,
what it's about.
so that happened. That was the biggest news story of the week. Should we move on?
Do we have
Do you have
to?
a better understanding of short selling and shorting stock and how much Wall Street sucks? Actually, I imagine the street itself is probably nice enough. Like the physical street is probably okay. I don't know. Like,
I guess, yeah.
maybe. I don't know. I've never actually seen it, or I can't remember seeing it.
Let's talk about something. Let's talk about something that's just as despicable.
Yay! It's the good news show. Scavengers Studio suspends creative director after harassment allegations. This is from Stephen Messner over at PC Gamer, who writes, Scavengers Studio is a Montreal-based indie studio with around 40 employees that made a big splash at the Game Awards in December with the announcement of Season. This narrative-driven adventure game is about a young woman bicycling across a surrealistic landscape, documenting her journey and the artifacts she finds in preventing them from being lost in a mysterious and impending apocalypse. But despite Season's serene vibes, several employees have come forward to accuse Scavengers Studio co-founders, creative director Simon Darvaux and CEO Amélie Lamarche of fostering a hostile and sexist working environment. A report by GamesIndustry.biz, who spoke to 9 current and past employees, details multiple specific incidents of sexual and verbal harassment dating back to 2018. These allegations also describe a generally hostile work environment, especially for women, where employees would be publicly degraded, yelled at, and objectified. In one such incident, which happened in 2019, Simon Darvaux allegedly got drunk at a company party and groped several female employees. One of the employees groped by Darvaux resigned the following Monday, while another left the company soon after. Other accusations include Darvaux openly berating employees, making inappropriate remarks about their appearance, and even holding grudges and refusing to talk to employees who Darvaux felt wronged him for weeks on end. A major concern of the sources GamesIndustry.biz spoke with was the conflict of interest that exists between Darvaux and Lamarche. The two co-founded the studio and were allegedly in a romantic relationship for a number of years. Because Scavengers Studio didn't have a proper HR department or procedures for many years, the only recourse employees had was to complain to Lamarche directly, whom sources say repeatedly downplayed Darvaux's toxic behaviour. Quote, Darvaux has a lot of charisma and he gets away with a lot, one source said. But Lamarche is actually worse, because she covered a lot of what he did or what he does. They said, you can talk to us, but in the end, everybody knows you can't really say anything against the founders, otherwise you're fucked, another employee told GamesIndustry.biz. Darvaux is also accused of being a disorganized leader who refuses to listen to advice from other developers. He was the creative director for the studio's first release, the Darwin Project, in January of 2020, a wintry battle royale that announced it was going offline a mere 4 months after launch, which two sources claim was partly due to Darvaux's inability to follow through on ideas. Darvaux was supposed to begin working on a third unannounced game, leaving Season in the hands of a separate team run by creative director Kevin Sullivan. But sources say Darvaux is now working on an unspecified role on Season and forcing many unwanted changes in the development team, including making the open world bigger and adding quests and objective markers. Oh no. It's not a game that needs quests and objective markers. Quote, now I don't even know what's been announced because it's so different from what we had planned, one person told GamesIndustry.biz. I don't even recognize the game, end quote. Another source said, quote, every game, it's the same pattern. Darvaux builds a vision of a game, sells it to the team so the team is excited, then he sells it to publishers, but there's no design, there's no concrete plan, and there's never really a game in the end. People working on the game are trying to do their best, but the whole company is built around, we build prototypes, we get money from publishers, and repeat. There's not a real goal of releasing a quality game. There's no process to do so, end quote. Later in the report, Scavengers Studio addressed many of these accusations in a statement provided to GamesIndustry.biz, in which they say the usual things. It's all unacceptable. That type of harassment is unwelcome, etc., etc. The reason I'm skipping over that one is because they sent out a second statement, which is probably more relevant. And not a cookie cutter statement. So I'll go for I'm going to skip to that statement just for the interest of time. Scavengers Studio CEO, Emily LaMarche released a statement today addressing the allegations and outlining several actions the company is taking as a result. Creative director Simon Dover, the subject of most of the allegations, is indefinitely suspended from all responsibilities and from the board of directors. Scavengers Studio is also bringing in a third-party firm to audit its workplace culture and practices, the results of which will be shared with every employee of Scavengers Studio upon its completion. LaMarche said she will also be temporarily stepping down from her role as CEO for the duration of the audit, as she was also subject of the allegations and her romantic relationship with Darvo was considering a conflict of interest for some of the anonymous employees who came forward. Quote, Scavenger Studio wishes to apologise for the harm caused. Allegations such as these are serious, and we are committed to doing better for our employees, our fans, and our partners, end quote. And that was LaMarche.
Okay.
Yep. You're up.
Douchebag with a douchebag partner, it seems like it. Being a douche, and I'm being polite when I say those words, to many people, making the workplace so unacceptable, make it hospitable for people that they go to a party, 2 staff literally resign the next day or within the next
well, one
week
person
or so.
resigned when the next working day, right?
Yep.
Because Simon Darvo decided to cop a feel.
Yeah. What is it with any company, and I'm just meaning any company that I think this is acceptable? I just don't understand it. What were you raised like? That's the question for me. Is at the same time, it's like you obviously must have been raised in this type of environment that you think this is obviously acceptable type of thing, because it is not acceptable whatsoever to do this type of things. Threatening, being rude, being disgusting, groping, harassing, the whole blood, being an absolute douche is just not acceptable. And anyone trying to freaking cover up that stuff is just as bad as that person.
Yeah.
Arguably even worse, because they know this is going on and they're covering this shit up to try and to keep this company in some sort of good reputation, quote unquote. And it isn't. It's vile. It's disgusting. And because of this person himself, it's because and his lack of vision and lack of taking feedback on board, just basically ruined their first game that they released, the Darwin Project, because it's no longer out there anymore. So it's like,
I remember that game.
What the hell? And now you've got 2 other games that are involved. Well, he's involved in one of them at the time before obviously all this game happened, and then another person was doing another one, and now he's come over to that one, and I can only imagine, and he's totally changing so many things on it. It's just like, it's disgusting. And to say that they are now, we have brought in a temporary team or an audit team to sort out, a third-party team to audit the workplace culture and practices. You shouldn't need this to do this. You don't need a company to come in to tell you how to be good in the workplace. You don't need this. It's stupid. It's disgusting. And to the CEO, don't come back. Both of yous, don't come back. I'm temporarily stepping down from my role as CEO because it's a conflict of interest. Yes, it's a conflict of interest, and also you're a douchebag, and you should be probably getting arrested for all this and taken to court just like he should be. So vile.
Yep.
That's vile.
But why is it a conflict of interest? Exactly this reason. Or this is why it's a conflict of interest.
Into the when one boss apply for job list.
When one boss is fucking sexually harassing and sexually assaulting like female members of your team, and the only people they can go to is the other boss, who is in a relationship with that first boss, you're fucked. Like, yeah, you would quit. I would have quit. It's your only option.
I will thump them.
But like, it's just this is
But then I turn into the bad guy there. Sorry for putting
no,
in
that's
there.
fine. This is like a recurring thing with like we've seen like this kind of story, not necessarily specific details, but with a lot of different companies, and it just comes down to power and how people wield that power.
Oh hell yeah!
And what they think is acceptable versus what actually is acceptable. Because the thing is, like 10 years ago, would this have been a news story? Like, if we were doing a
No,
podcast
no.
exactly like this podcast, and Games Industry Biz, this was Rebecca Valentine, by the way, which is great. The original story was great. It was just very long. Like this wouldn't have been a thing that would have even made an impact
Wouldn't have at all. Not at all.
because people
We know
could get
this.
away with this kind of thing, and a lot of people don't want change.
I mean,
People
those
like
people
Simon
should
Darwell.
go away as well.
And wish to keep doing things the way that they've always done things. And that's not acceptable anymore. And its consequences are starting to happen for that kind of thing. Which is why a lot of stories like this have happened and come out in the past few years. Now, unfortunately, the consequences for this kind of thing aren't quite as severe as they probably should be or need to be to deter this kind of behavior completely. This is just us stepping in the right direction and actually trying to hold people accountable. So it's a good start. In terms of this, specifically the update with the statement from Emily LaMarche, I like when you say you're committed to doing better for your employees and your fans and your partners, it's impossible to believe you because you covered up for this for so long.
Exactly.
Personally, the person who said that personally covered up for this for so long. So you
not
are
be
not
allowed to
committed to
continue
that.
anymore.
You are committed to that now you got caught.
Yeah.
Shouldn't take that. And she should have had some self-respect. If she was in a relationship with this Simon Darvaux, and this Simon Darvaux was sexually harassing and sexually assaulting other women who worked for him at a staff party,
Yeah.
then, have some self-respect, girl. Like, you could get fucked. But apparently that's not how it went down for some reason. And also, I remember the Darwin Project, and I did wonder what happened to it. Because I remember playing it in early access. I got a code for it on Xbox. And it seemed like it had some decent potential, but I just never heard of it again until we found out it was closed.
Yeah. We talked about it when it was closed.
So I guess I know what happened now.
We all know what happened.
It's depressing to think that this really cool looking Game Awards game that I highlighted when we talked about the Game Awards last year as one of the games that looked really cool, is being made worse by somebody who is an absolute piece of human garbage.
Yeah, you should always take feedback on board, even if you don't like it, because extra eyes will always. I'm learning about the psychology anyway right now. It's basically one of the things I'm writing up about right now. And I'm not taking anything about what the guy's done, anything like that. Where my thing is just tunnel vision himself. That's all he was when he was developing this game, was tunnel vision. His version, his way, and all this. And because of this, it made him completely. Well, no, he could have. I'm going to rephrase that because he was probably already a dick before that anyway. He made himself even more of a big of a dick, doing all the nastiness, being nasty to all the people and everything like that, and not taking any feedback on board, just saying, "Yeah, this game." You've got a good idea, but this could make it even better, type of thing. Nah, I'm going to stick with this and I'm just going to continue to be a dickhead. Oh, at a party, I'm just going to group up a couple of people and they're going to fuck off by the end of it. Piss off.
Yep.
Just piss off, man. Like, seriously. These people don't deserve our time or breath anymore now.
Let's talk about people who apparently do. Activision Blizzard says interviewing diverse candidates for every opening unworkable. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz. I don't blame you for quitting. Activision Blizzard is looking to avoid a shareholder proposal that it interview at least one diverse candidate when it hires for a position, according to a Vice report. The proposal was made separately at both Activision Blizzard and Electronic Arts by the AFL-CIO Labour Federation, which owns shares in both publishers. The proposal was based on the NFL's Rooney Rule, adopted in 2003, to require all of the Football League's teams to interview at least one diverse candidate for every head coaching vacancy. It was later expanded to include vacancies for general managers and similar front office positions. In its letters to the publishers, the AFL-CIO argued for the adoption of the rule, saying, quote, "A diverse workforce at all levels of a company can enhance long-term company performance." Quote, end quote. Activision Blizzard touted its diversity programs to Vice, touted.
It does toot a lot of things like
They toot,
Activision
yeah,
Blizzard.
they do
They
toot.
toot a lot.
Activision Blizzard touted its diversity programs to Vice, saying, quote, "We value the diversity of the Activision Blizzard community and understand that our employees and players come from a wide array of backgrounds. In order to deliver epic and engaging entertainment for our diverse, growing global audience, our workforce must reflect these communities," end quote. However, it also responded to the AFL-CIO proposal by asking the Securities and Exchange Commission to exempt it from putting the question to shareholders at its annual meeting this summer. Vice reports that an Activision Blizzard attorney told the SEC in January, quote, "While the company has implemented a Rooney Rule policy as envisioned for director and CEO nominees, implementing a policy that would extend such an approach to all hiring decisions amounts to an unworkable encroachment on the company's ability to run its business and compete for talent in a highly competitive, fast-moving market," end quote. Activision Blizzard's attorney further said the proposal was micromanaging in nature and, quote, "leaves no room for the company's management or board of directors to exercise discretion in how new hire decisions are structured," end quote. On the other hand, an EA representative told Vice that the publisher would consider AFL-CIO proposals, saying it was, quote, "committed to maintaining hiring practices that promote inclusion and diversity at the company," end quote. As Vice notes, the AFL-CIO has already had success with similar Rooney Rule shareholder proposals, convincing 5 of the largest US banks to adopt such policies and add public accountability to their existing diversity initiatives. I don't know if you want to say anything, like, before I just fucking launch.
I want to hear you first.
Like, fuck them, right? The rule isn't, you have to hire at least one diverse person in every department or whatever, let's say. The rule is, for every job that you interview for, you have to interview just one diverse person. Just one person of colour. Just one woman. Just one queer person. Just one. Out of probably 200 applicants per job, if I'm being conservative. And you can't even commit to doing that because it would infringe upon your ability to run your company better. Fuck off. Bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll just say this as well. They won't even take into account if the person is queer or gay or anything like that. Because it won't be on the job, but they won't ask you if you're gay or anything like that. That's done everything like that. So it'll just be literally the diverse count is woman or person of an ethnic minority type of thing, and all like that. No, it's wow. We're showing we are diverse because we're gonna give an interview to a person from a different minority or a woman.
Look at us.
But we don't have to hire them or anything like that.
We're so diverse, guys, that we can't even commit to interviewing one diverse person for every job application we get. Even though literally every position that we advertise a job for probably has multiple diverse people applying for it anyway. But we can't commit to interviewing just one of these people per position because we're so diverse. Because, in their own words, they value the diversity of the community, but apparently not their workforce.
Stupid things like this is just stupid. Like, I can appreciate, like, when you're hiring the person, you're hiring the best person for the job. I can appreciate that. I understand that. If that person is... Yeah, in theory, I can appreciate it, but you have to go off what they're saying and how they were in the interview and everything for me. But no, this is just It's just like for them, for the companies, and out for them saying, "We see, we're at least trying because we're doing this, and we do give them interviews and all like that." And it's just like, yeah, but are you actually hiring the
But
people
here's
and
the
whatnot?
thing. This could have so easily just be like positive PR for Activision Blizzard. It's the bare
They don't
minimum.
know what that
It's
is.
this is the bare fucking minimum, right? Like this is literally the bare minimum. Commit to interviewing a single diverse person for every job opening. That is the definition of minimum of like the bare minimum that would be required. And they can't even commit to doing that. That tells me everything I need to know about how much Activision Blizzard as a company values diversity.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
doesn't know. We know this. Like we're going through that right now with this Tory government. They do the bare minimum, and sometimes it's not even the bare minimum.
This is the easiest way. They could have just been like, hey, look, we're good. And they decided just not to fucking bother. It blows my mind. It's like, to use your example, or to use another metaphor, it's like we have in 2020/2021, we have like so much medical scientific knowledge that we could easily deal with a global pandemic. And yet we just chose not to fucking bother.
Well, a couple of countries did. But
Yeah,
they
I'm talking
weren't
about the
entertaining.
UK specifically. Like.
I know, but I know who you're meaning. I'm just saying, yeah. The other countries were not allowed in. They won't allow us in. I
It's
can
exactly
understand
this. It's a similar situation here. It's just like Activision Blizzard is given a gift of saying, here, look, the bare minimum standard. Just agree to this, and they just didn't fucking bother, and they're just not fucking bothering. It's mind blowing. It's amazing. I can't believe it. Like, Jesus, guys.
When a company is made of...
When EA is doing a better job at you than you.
That's how high the bar is when EA is doing better. When we give EA praise, it always feels wrong when we give EA praise. The guys, come on.
You gotta look. EA is a weird one because they're like Activision Blizzard is a shit company, right? I feel like we very rarely have anything positive to say about Activision Blizzard. EA is a weird one where they do a lot of terrible shit, but they also do a lot of really good shit. So it's not like we're even necessarily like we praise them sometimes just as much as we lay into them.
Yeah.
Which is a very strange situation because I don't think there's many other companies out there where where it goes that way both ways. But
it's 50-50 with EA all the time. Yeah, I agree.
But this is fucking horseshit.
Yeah, it's Activision being Activision. That's all.
Activision Blizzard. I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't just call them Activision anymore. They're Activision Blizzard.
When I say Activision, I just mean all of them. So
I know it's just when you remove the Blizzard part, it's phonology, right? Just go.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Like I don't want people to forget that Blizzard is also a part of this.
Activision Blizzard, you're a shit company. You're still a shit company with terrible practices. Congratulations.
Congratulations. The bar was so low, it was
that
underground.
EA hopped it quite easily.
The bar was so low, it was underground. And instead of just walking across the street, you decided to just dig a hole through the ground just so you could trip over the bar. Should we move on to the good stuff now? I put good news in here as well. It's after.
I was wondering if you did mix it up or you just wanted to throw everything with shit this week.
Well, sometimes I like to mix it up, and sometimes I like to just
hit us, throw heavy punches.
Go in heavy, and then it depends how heavy it is, right? It's like you go in heavy, and then you build yourself back up, so that we still end the podcast in a good mood.
Well, I hope so. I came in, like I said,
in such a good mood, right?
Felt good. I'm not feeling so good right now, even though I'm smiling.
Help. Well, how about this one, Mooney? Hitman 3 is already profitable. It recouped its total project costs in less than a week. This is from Stephanie Nunley over at VG247. He writes, IO Interactive has announced Hitman 3 has already recouped total project costs. Released last week, Hitman 3's developer has said the game has already turned a profit. Quote, we've been really happy with the Hitman 3 journey, IO Interactive CEO Hakan Abrak told GamesIndustry.biz. He's been a labour of love between our fans and everyone at the studio. As the developer and publisher, we are immensely proud that we can say Hitman 3 is already profitable. We have recouped the total project costs in less than a week. That puts us in a really good place and allows us to confidently move forward with our ambitious plans for future projects. End quote.
Congratulations, well done. Like I said on our impression/review of it, I do enjoy the game. I did enjoy the game. I haven't finished it yet because I've been working hard on my college and everything. But
That's fair.
it is a good game and it deserves all the love it's been getting and everything. Yeah, I know I have gripes with it and it didn't hit me. It didn't work for me as much as it worked for Amy. But it's not. I'm not the audience for it. But yeah, I'm always happy to hear good things like this and everything. Well done. Your team's has done a good job.
What a turnaround, though. From almost getting shut down to buying
like
itself. And now it's like, cool, we've released a game and it's profitable within a week.
Yeah, and I can't remember how many times I heard on many other podcasts when I was listening to podcasts a while back of saying, Xbox should buy IO Interactive. Xbox should buy IO Interactive. IO Interactive is like, yeah, we're good. Even though, yes, we would be better if we would be financially more comfortable if we were with Xbox, but we're good.
He would say something like that on a podcast about video games.
Congratulations to the team. Like I said, the developers, the whole squad has done a really, really good job.
Yeah, apparently they're looking to double the size of the team for the James Bond game.
Well, they've got the money now for it. So it's okay.
Or they're doubling the size of the team so they can make 2 games. I don't know. Like, the assumption is they're going to just make the biggest team ever for James Bond. Whereas, like, my brain sort of went, what if they just made another game as well?
I think because it's James Bond, I think they're going to concentrate the entire team on the first Bond game. And then, if that is a success, which going off how they've been overall well received since they left Square Enix. Yeah. Well, since they left Square Enix, their games have been pretty much always well received. If they continue this and Bond comes out and that's truly their big hit, where they're just like Activision Interactive have arrived. They haven't got that game where they can say we've arrived yet, and that could be Bond. So for me, if that was me, I would be saying build the team, make the team double the size, and have every single one of us concentrating on Bond, and make that the best game ever. And then when that game's out, we possibly separate into 2 teams.
If they've got the production pipeline for that, then yeah, do that. But I have read too many stories in the past few years about development teams that got big and then it was too unwieldy and they didn't have the production pipeline for it and they didn't have the management in place for it, and it's all gone horribly wrong. So it's like whatever works for IO, right? IOI.
Yeah.
But also, if you are making another game, IOI, like, you could totally make an Agatha Christie game and I'd be down. I played Hitman 3. Yeah, I know you can do it.
Do a Hercule Poirot game.
You could. They could. I played
that glorious mustache.
I feel like I played their demo for a murder mystery game set in 19th century Britain.
Your first trailer for that could literally just be this: my name is Hercule Poirot. I am the greatest detective around the planet. The mustache.
For some reason, there is just an Inception horn. Whoa. Because everything's got to have an Inception horn in it now. Let's talk about Xbox.
Let's talk about more money.
Money. Xbox Series X/S launches help push Microsoft gaming revenue up 51%. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz. He writes, Microsoft's gaming business received a significant jolt from the November launch of new hardware, according to the company's latest financial results. Microsoft reported earnings for the quarter ended December 31st, 2020, with overall gaming revenues up 51%. Xbox hardware alone was up 86%, which the company attributed to the launch of the Xbox Series consoles. Xbox content and services revenue was up a less dramatic 40%, with the company crediting the rise of third-party titles, Game Pass subscriptions, and then first-party titles. Probably because you didn't have any first-party titles, Microsoft.
Oh, burn!
Additional figures on Microsoft's gaming growth emerged during a conference call with investors last night, in which CEO Satya Nadella said gaming revenues passed $5 billion for the first time last quarter.
You have to do this, for $5 billion.
$5 billion. Is Microsoft evil now? Is that what I heard?
You're $1 trillion company that probably could save the economy. So
they actually could save the world. Yeah. He added that Microsoft has also benefited from the success of developers using its various services, such as cloud technology, to power their games. As such, revenue from third-party titles exceeded $2 billion for the first time. Nadella also confirmed, most successful launch in history. Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood added that demand for the new console significantly exceeded supply. Yeah, I think we could have figured that out for ourselves, thanks.
I hear things like the most successful thing in history. I'm just like, well, what does that actually mean? You're not telling us what does that actually mean. You're just giving us a quote. That's all you're giving us.
It means...
You're not giving us numbers.
Let me translate it for you, Mooney. What that means is, check us out. We didn't fuck it up like the Xbox One.
But we're still not ready to talk about numbers, so...
But we'll never talk about numbers again. Suck it.
Yeah.
Microsoft expects this demand to continue throughout the next quarter, but notes that the Xbox Series sales will still be constrained by supply. Xbox Live now has more than 100 million monthly active users. That's all users, that's not just gold users. While Game Pass has grown to 18 million subscribers, up from the 15 million reported in September. That's it. Full stop. Done.
Congratulations, Microsoft. Yeah. You fucked up last week, which isn't one of the stories that we're talking about this week.
Oh, shit. I knew I forgot something.
Did I just remind you of that last week?
You've literally just reminded me that happened. Dude, I've been reading about fucking financial, economic stock markets for the past 2 days. I forgot about that. Let's finish this one and then I'll find a new story now.
So, congratulations. You've had a great success launch for Xbox Series X and S, without really telling us what's that actually mean. Subscriptions are obviously all up and everything has gone up by less than a dramatic 40% and everything, which is fantastic and everything. The only thing I was a little surprised by that, only 3 million extra subscribers to Game Pass.
Nah, well, we went from April to September last time, and it went from 10 million to 15 million. But that was when a lot more people were locked in.
Yeah.
So I feel like that probably accounts for the extra 2 mil. Basically. Because a lot less people are locked in. So there will be people who maybe don't have the time for Game Pass, who maybe just didn't renew it, stuff like that.
It is crazy how... I don't know why it is in my head right now, because obviously at the end of the day, this is a Netflix thing. This is a Disney Plus type of thing. This is what it is. This is a streaming service that they're trying to create here, and they're doing very successful. We flaunted on many occasions saying this is arguably the best deal out there in gaming, especially with the new developers that they've just bought. You can only imagine what's going to look like, say, in 10 years' time, and everything. But I don't know why, but it just seems like it's moving very slow for a company who they are thinking long term, and they're the ones getting in front of this. I don't know why. I know it's a separate medium, but Netflix and Disney Plus and all the other subscribers, I know it's a different medium. I know that they are so high and going fast and furious, so crazy right now. And Disney, when it comes to content, it's content we've seen for many, many years. They've just started to throw out new things to improve on it, and they are almost at 100 million subscribers. Xbox, they got so many games there, and so much plethora of games that the subscribers just seem like it's going very slow for me. I don't know why. It's just like why it's making me go,
It's a different
type of
market.
thing. Yeah, I guess
All
so.
you have
I'm guessing it's cause of that. But
the only way you have...
gaming. Sorry for butting. I apologize there. Go on.
No, it's fine. What I was just going to say is, like, with Disney Plus, like, all you have to do to sell Disney Plus to someone is it's Netflix, but with Disney stuff, Disney films, right? It's like Netflix is a thing people know. Like, people know what Netflix is. It's a very easy baseline comparison. If you try to sell Game Pass to someone where you say it's the Netflix of video games, people don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. Or they don't... It's harder to wrap your head around what the hell does Netflix of video games look like. And also, it's not really the Netflix of video games.
Yeah, like, because at the end of the day, you have to download the game before you can install. You have to install the game before you can play it and everything. But yeah,
You've also got to remember is there's only estimated 50 million Xbox Ones out in the world.
But you would think you would be above 20 million at least already.
Dude,
with subscribers.
Xbox
they
have never
90
been able.
million gold accounts.
Xbox have never been able to fucking get Xbox fans to buy their first party games. Like, this is a known factor. Like, you look at the attach rates of a Nintendo game on a Nintendo platform or a PlayStation game on a PlayStation platform, and the percentages are far higher than they are on Xbox for something like Halo or Gears.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's just maybe it's because like we all know that the game industry is the most profitable industry in the world when it comes to entertainment. It outshines movies and music by a mile. And everything, but it's very slow to the game when it comes to certain things, like Game Pass, which like we've called many times is Netflix for gaming, quote unquote. That's just the dumb version for it for people. But it's moving into they're the first ones to do it. But like Netflix has been around for 10 years now. Disney have just started getting into it for God's sakes, and they've got I don't know. I think I'm overthinking it.
I think you are, but it's cool. It's fine. It's like
just a little bit.
I think it's 3 million in 3 months.
3-4 months.
It's good. Well, it'll be 3 months because the October, November, December, right? It'll be the quarterly, the quarterly thing. So it'd be 3 months. 3 million, like 1 million subscribers a month is pretty good. Like when people can start buying Xboxes again, like maybe that number will start rising.
Fly for both are pretty short right now.
Yeah. Xbox U-turns on gold subscription price hike after fan backlash. This is from Christopher Dring over at GamesIndustry.biz. It's not something I just Googled right now. Less than 18 hours after it was announced, Xbox has scrapped its plans to raise the price of its Xbox Live Gold subscription service. The firm had previously announced that its Gold membership scheme, which is what gamers need to be able to play Xbox games online, would be increasing by $1 for a 1-month subscription or $5 for a 3-month subscription. That would be $10.99 for a month, $29.99 for 3 months, or $59.99 for 6. But Jesus Christ. The 6 months price is what Xbox had been charging for a 12-month subscription. However, some fans were angry at the increase. Analysts suggested this was an aggressive effort for Microsoft to convince its Gold user base to upgrade to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which combines Gold with the firm's Game Pass offering, where players can download hundreds of games on Xbox and PC. Other fans took to social media to criticize the move taking place so soon after the launch of the new Xbox consoles and during the current uncertain economic situation caused by COVID-19. Microsoft reacted quickly, however, and reversed its decision. There was a full stop there, but I didn't inflect properly. The firm has also announced that free-to-play games on Xbox will no longer require Gold membership at all. Thank fucking Christ. This comes ahead of the launch
caught up what PlayStation was doing.
Halo Infinite later this year, which will feature a free-to-play multiplayer mode. Like, yeah, you want to talk about bare fucking minimum. It's like Microsoft finally reached the bare minimum where free-to-play games will actually be free-to-play on Xbox. Like, Fortnite will now not cost $60 a year on Xbox and be free on PlayStation.
Give it up to Xbox, Microsoft people. Yay. Doing the bare minimum. That's what the title of this episode should be called today. The bare
minimum. $60 for 6 months is ludicrous. It's literally double the price of PS Plus.
Okay, so I've looked. I remember when this came out and everything. It's obviously just came out literally the next day after we just did this episode, the last episode and everything.
Okay.
Price going up. I have no problem with a price going up. It's the price that they put it up, because now going back to like the stream server, Netflix have just raised their price, not to extraordinary prices, but it's still gone up. Disney Plus are raising their prices sometime this year. They've already confirmed it. It's going up by £1 or $1. And it's going to go even higher further down the line someday. But yes, this type of thing was like, what were you thinking, Microsoft? And this is the thing about it. Everyone, like, I've seen people go, oh, did they know this was going to happen? Yeah, they knew what they were doing here, ladies and gentlemen. They just didn't know. They just didn't expect the reaction they were going to get.
How?
Maybe some people behind the scenes probably were warning them, saying, yo, this could get a bad reaction type of thing, and they've ignored them. That's what they've done. They've ignored them. They saw, oh, if I type in this to this number in this calculator and then press the times button, and then this, oh my God, my number into my bank account goes from this to that.
Oh my God.
Type of thing.
I'm sure no one will cancel. If I double the price of PlayStation Plus, Moody. Like, you don't need anything else. Like, there's tons of other counter arguments against Xbox pushing their prices up so high. Some of them were in the article I've just read. But all you need to say, one person at Xbox needed to say, this will make it double the price of PS Plus.
But I'm not going to lie, I'd be very surprised if someone didn't say that.
And Game Pass or not, that will drive people to get a play. Because you remember, there's a lot of people out there right now who want an Xbox and can't get one.
Yes.
And guess what? It's the same price as the PlayStation 5, which you also can't get. And it's moves like this right now that could convince people who would otherwise buy an Xbox Series X when they could get their hands on one, who might just say, you know what, fuck that, I'm in a PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like last year they did a couple of things that they did was very mixed for them. People were like, ugh. But 9 times out of 10 when it came to gaming and everything like that, they were still very pro the consumer, help it, doing the best we could to the consumer and everything. And this is one thing where higher than Phil Spencer, I'm going to say this right now, basically overruled and said, no, we're going to do this type of thing. I'm not going to lie, unless it comes out and says, oh, Phil pushed for this to happen, Phil will be trying to bury that story as fast as he can.
I literally was on...
to be kept as the Xbox guy, the savior of Xbox type of thing.
I was literally on a predictions podcast at the beginning of the week when where this happened, saying like, oh, like they might get rid of the charge for Xbox Live Gold because it lines up with everything they've said about accessibility and strategy and, like, you know what I mean, and how they're treating like their console going forward. And they literally went and did the opposite. So I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. We've got meme stock traders on one side. We've got Xbox doing like completely the opposite to what it's done for the last fucking 2 years. Like,
it has been crazy, and there's no doubt about it. But it is an interesting thing about Xbox here. It's just like, Xbox, we know your plan right now with Game Pass is long term. We know you're going to be losing money for this for quite a while right now, especially with only 18 million subscribers right now. I've seen many people say on this, like Paris from the Xcast, but also from the other podcast he does, the radio Game Tag Radio.
Game Tag Radio.
Yeah. Where he's saying, like, why they just don't switch everyone's gold account to Game Pass and just make internet for free for everybody, because now it's free for me on my PC. I don't need a gold account to play multiplayer games from Xbox on my PC at all. So why is it opposite? I'm shaking my monitor and I'm shaking my thing. Why is the opposite to get to the consoles?
Moody, welcome to a conversation that has been being had for at least a decade.
No, I know that. No, I've heard this conversation for a long, long time and everything, but it just, I think it's moot for it deserves to be brought up here.
Absolutely.
Microsoft and PlayStation, like I'll even say this to PlayStation. PlayStation, you should probably even look. You were free on your PlayStation 3.
Xbox was free on the original Xbox as well.
And then but then they put the price up, and then
because I played Halo 2 for free. It's great. I mean, I bought the game, obviously.
Yeah, Microsoft will say this: if you're truly a pro-consumer, you need to just abolish not Game Pass, Gold altogether, and transfer all those accounts over to Game Pass. One that shoots your Game Pass subscriptions all the way up to bloody like a 90 to 100 million. Yes, you won't see any revenue for that for quite some time, because you'll probably make everyone get a year's subscription or something or whatever automatically to counteract it, and you won't get everyone's. That's the only thing I can think of in my head right now.
The potential issue with that is Game Pass Ultimate, which is they'd have to abolish I imagine they'd abolish the basic tier Game Pass. Otherwise, you would be giving people you'd have to convert Gold subscribers to the Game Pass Ultimate because that's the one that comes with Gold.
That's fine. Just do that.
Well, the problem with that is Game Pass Ultimate is more expensive than a monthly Xbox Live Gold subscription, so you'd be asking people to pay more money.
I think if they were offered just to switch from Gold to getting Game Pass and all the Gold things all added in together, I think that people would not.
I think some people would do it. I think some people who got switched over would look at what they were getting now and go, actually, this is a really sweet deal. I'll keep it on. But some people wouldn't because they don't want it. Like maybe they only have Gold because they want to play FIFA, or COD. You know what I mean, with their friends. That might be the only reason some people have Gold. Other people might not be able to afford it. Like we talk a lot on this podcast about like a lot of people who talk about the gaming industry have never been poor, and you could really tell sometimes. And I think it's one of those things where it's like some people just can't afford it.
That's fair. I understand where you're coming from with that, and also with the part where you're saying like, I think you are right when it comes to the Gold thing. I bet I'll say right now, and I think I'm safe to say in this, 50 million of them are probably just casual gamers who play Call of Duty once a year, the new Call and the new FIFA.
I mean, I did that once, like years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago, because it was COD 4. Like I used to play a lot of games, right? I used to play like Dragon Age Origins was the one I played, like a single player. But I'd spend most of my nights when I was at home, because I used to work away, on Xbox with Russell and Keith playing COD 4 or Left 4 Dead. And that was it. Those were the 2 games that I played with them. So I've been there where it's just like you just play one game. Like
I think they have to come to a decision at the end of the day what they're going to do with these things, because I think a decision has to be made where, for me, if I was them, I would be saying, if you want to play an online game, it's free. It's free, okay? And all this type of thing, mentality. They've said many times for Game Pass, it's a long-term gain for this. It's a long-term job for them. They know this. They're not going to... If they hit... If this is how profitable streaming can be. If they get 50 million subscribers, that's arguably about a couple of $1 billion from that alone. And that's the thing about it.
They'd be able to buy some stocks in GameStop.
Maybe, just maybe. For me, they need to just take the hit now. Just take the hit. You've just posted profit, for God's sakes. It won't hurt you that big of a... Short term, it may hurt you. Long term, it could be beneficial to you. To be the company that comes out to say... This is the thing about it. If they came out and says, internet's free on their console, multiplayer games are free, blah, 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 that puts Sony then in a corner then. That's going to get Sony to start thinking, because Sony aren't going to do anything until Microsoft do it. I think when it comes to the internet thing.
Well, this is the thing. What we've noticed. We've even talked about it in the past year. I would say, where it's like PlayStation sure are not acting like a market leader. Like, and what you're saying is correct. I think that Sony won't do something unless Microsoft does it. Like first, in terms of this specifically, and it's like maybe Microsoft like should just act like they're the big dogs. Like take the initiative.
Financially, they are.
Like be the market leader. You know, even if you're not, just fucking act like it, because you'll force Sony into doing things it doesn't want to do.
Yeah,
and you'll be the one who gets to take the credit.
Mm-hmm. Sony, I still stand to this day. I think eventually Sony will do a Game Pass subscription service for their PlayStation, but it won't be for a long time. Like a long time until they see that. Oh, Mike, how many subscribers Microsoft have got there now? Well, they have around 40 to 50 million. Say, oh, okay.
How many copies?
We might have to start.
How many
thinking
copies
about
of The Last of Us Part 3 did we sell? We sold 12 million.
But that is the thing. So if we combine that all together with our PlayStation Now and make it this price, and we get 50 million, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It is literally around about $3 to $4 billion, depending on the price.
If Sony came out at a hypothetical E3 show and said, "Look, we're making a fucking," they've done this in a way with the PS Plus collection.
Yeah.
But if they came out and they said, "We're making PlayStation Game Pass," they'll have a better name for it. But we're making PlayStation Game Pass. We're gonna put all these fucking cool ass fucking PlayStation games in this thing, like Bloodborne, Persona, Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War. And then, like, if you subscribe to this thing, you'll get all our PlayStation Studio games. Like, you'll just be able to download and play them, like God of War Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West, and Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank. You'd be like, fucking would not be able. If we were live streaming that hypothetical E3 event, you wouldn't be able to stop me from running to my fucking PlayStation. I've got it.
You wouldn't even run to it, Amy. You would jump through the roof.
Oh my god! Like, yeah, it's because the value proposition of that would just be fucking ludicrous. Like, Xbox Game Pass is the best deal in gaming right now, and Xbox have barely released any games. Like, can you imagine in 2 years when their games start coming out?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
also,
crazy.
Shout out to Halo Infinite is going to be a free-to-play multiplayer game on Xbox.
Again, they're doing the bare minimum.
No, but completely free to play. Like, that's something. Like,
yeah, it's a crazy thing. The whole shebang.
Those are good, but not good enough because we talked about that longer than I thought we would. So bye. Returnal delayed to April 2021. This is from Anna Bankhurst over. Do you know what? Returnal got delayed to April 30th, 2021. I don't even read the story. That happened.
Take your time, no rush. Looking forward to the game. That's all that matters.
This is going to be, and I'm going to say this for the next few months. This is going to be the first of many, many, many delays.
Many.
Like, if a game has a release date, anytime past, I'd say mid-February, it's probably getting delayed.
I'll just be the hitters. Boo!
Yeah, sorry. But, you know, COVID happened, and it's still happening.
Fake news! Boo!
Alright, you sound like my fucking Twitter timeline. Come on. Sorry, you sound like
Why
my
I got off Twitter.
You sound like my Twitter notifications. Pfft. Children, Moody. They're children.
Oh, the hell yeah.
They make me laugh more than anything else.
That's true, like.
Lastly, and again, I don't need to read the news story. Netflix is making a Tomb Raider anime.
It's the first I've heard about this. I won't lie. Okay.
So when you delete your Twitter
They've really
again.
thrown in a lot. They're throwing in a lot. Like what? Like you got the Witcher one coming. You had the Castlevania one. You had the what was it? The Monster Hunter one? No, not the Monster Hunter one.
Kuni.
It was the Ni no Kuni
And
one.
there's a
But there was
Dragon
another
Quest,
one as
wasn't it?
well. Dragon Quest as well. You had the Dragon Quest one as well. Like, it's like, huh? They're going for it. Why the hell not? They gotta get the IPs out there somehow because they're just like. To what I'm noticing, they have like a threshold of like around $200 million for each purchase. That's as high as they will go because they tried to buy Top Gun, the next Top Gun film, and Universal, I think it was, or whoever literally just went. This is where our number starts, and they went. Hey.
No, thank you.
Something like that, yeah.
That's cool. I like Tomb Raider. With Netflix in the behind the marketing instead of Square Enix, might actually tell people that when the anime comes out. Unlike Square Enix with the games, forgetting to tell everybody that it came out.
I know this is not one of the stories or anything like that, but I don't know if this is true or not, but did IO Interactive come out and say? I think they saw them come out and say that it was for some reason people needed to know this, that they're doing their own original Bond. This is it's for their game and everything. They've come out and said that, didn't they?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like people needed to know this, but okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice information, I guess, and it's nice to know. Like, I'd rather they did their own original Bond.
Oh hell yeah! No, we're doing Daniel Craig. This is why this is a game that will never be profitable for us because he's too expensive. He literally is, ladies and gentlemen. Like, he asked for a lot of money for the last Bond movie, reportedly.
That's what happens when you just sick of Bond, right? You don't want to do it anymore. But you also like money.
Bad money. It's like, how much?
Wait, what did you say? Wait, what? Wait, what? How much did you just say?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. All right, it's time for my time, ladies and gentlemen. My time to shine, kind of. Games out this week. February 2nd. Destination All-Stars.
Destruction
PlayStation
All-Stars.
Oh, did I say Destination?
You did.
The Destination All-Stars. I'm just going with it. Destruction All-Stars. PlayStation 5. I believe this is also a Plus game. It's a PlayStation 5 Plus game. So very good if you have that service.
It's a good month if you got that service.
Dominate. I won't lie, I've seen it. Dominate the glittering globe phenomenon of Destruction All Stars, the spectacular primetime sport for dangerous drivers. So everyone on the A1 then. Master the art of the intense vehicles-based combat through timing, tactics, and skills to cause colossal amounts of damage, destruction, and devastation in the vibrant arenas across the globe. Control, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Do I actually have to read this one? You know what this game is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the Ultimate Edition.
I'm literally asking you, Amy.
It's the Ultimate Edition.
It's the Ultimate Edition.
You get the DLC.
Yeah.
And it's also on PS Plus.
Okay. February 4th, Nuts! PC and Nintendo Switch. A single-player surveillance mystery. Record the squirrels, report your findings, and piece together what's really going on in Melmoth Forest.
Fucking squirrels are up to something. I played the demo of this. I'll talk more about it in Pick of the Week.
Blue Fire, PC and Nintendo Switch. Embark on the extraordinary adventure through the perilous world of Penumbra, I think. Whatever. Thank you. To explore the unique temples filled with increasingly difficult 3D platforming challenges, diverse enemies, quests, collectibles, and more. Slash daunting adversaries, leap through deadly traps, and master the art of movement. I mastered the art of movement long ago. Werewolf, the Apocalypse, Earthbound. PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, the X Series and S Series, and the Xbox One. A unique experience full of savage combat and mysterious and mystical adventures. You are Chal, a powerful Gagu who can transform into a wolf, and a Chinos, I think, a huge ferocious beast. Master your three forms and their powers to punish those who defy Gaia. Oh, bless Gaia. February 5th, Kinetic Edge. Kinetic Edge is a physics platform-based racing game where you have to figure out the best way to overcome obstacles, courses with a shape of your choice. Play on your own, with friends, or multiplayer. The Nier Collection. It's the Nier Collection. That's it.
What games do you get with the Neo Collection?
I'm not even saying it.
Do you get the DLCs with them?
Go and find out online, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you buy Neo Remastered and Neo T Remastered separately? Or do you just buy the collection?
Doesn't say.
If only all of this information was in front of you right now, Moody.
Your collection. Find out your own.
That's not how this works. That's not how the force works.
That's not how the force works. One day we're going to be able to use that as the meme or the front as the picture of the podcast one time.
One day, yeah, there'll be some Star Wars thing that happens.
Yeah.
I'm just going
That's not how the force
works.
Yeah.
Use the Simpsons meme for the Cyberpunk one, so anything's possible.
Sure.
Do you have a pick of the week?
No, not really.
You fucking why I order. Well, my pick of the week's
Werewolf: The
nuts.
Apocalypse of Earthbound. I've never played the first game, and I've never even heard of this game. Funny enough,
this is the first game.
Wait, what?
It's based on a tabletop RPG. Werewolf the Apocalypse. Werewolf the Apocalypse is a tabletop RPG. Like Vampire and all the other ones that are set in the world of darkness.
But there's another game out there that's
it's a different game. It's not a sequel of it. They're completely different games. Werewolf, the Heart of the Forest. Moody.
Amy.
This is why I keep saying to people, everybody should just listen to me every now and again, and maybe you'd know things like, oh, how does Amy know so much about video games? I just read and speak, and then people go, oh, what's that thing? And I'll be like, I told you about it like 3 months ago.
I don't do this to you, so I'm fine.
No, you've never done that on me before. Anyway, my pick of the week is nuts. The graphics are amazing. The art style is fantastic.
It's got squirrels in it.
I played. Yeah, you start off in your trailer and you get cameras, and basically a squirrel goes through the level from one end to the other, and you set your cameras up, and then you watch them back, and then you sleep, and then you watch them back, and you go, oh, the squirrel went that way. So then you set your cameras, and you follow the squirrel.
Yeah.
Night after night, and then you eventually find out where it's going, and you play in the demo, like I did last summer. And if you do that, and you find the squirrel's nest or its den, and it's full of TNT. It's like, why is the squirrel collecting TNT? I don't know, but I want to find out. He got a lot of TNT.
It's the end of the world.
What are the squirrels planning, Moody?
Squirrels have decided to take out this planet.
Thank fuck, it's about time someone did. We're doing OpenCritic head to head. I'm fucking pissed, Moody. I'm fucking furious. OpenCritic head to head.
Was it 76 for a while?
No. Yeah, see, you don't even remember what I said at OpenCritic last week.
About a long week.
A week ago. This is OpenCritic head to head every single week. We try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever gets closest to the score gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of the medium. And Moody went first and said 85. And because the game before that was a draw, I decided that I wasn't going to use my original score prediction of 75, because that meant that a draw could have been possible if it got 80, and I bumped my prediction up by 1 point to 76. And at the time of recording, the medium has an OpenCritic average of 75. So I get a point.
Yeah.
Should have had 2 points. But
yeah.
we're just going to deny this conversation ever happened. One day, when we're podcasting in the same room, there's a lot of reach on this microphone. And I think it could survive. I think it could survive one good whack. That leaves the scores at Amy 1, Moody 0 with 1 draw. I guessed the correctly on the medium, and the draw was Hitman 3. This week, we're guessing the OpenCritic average for Werewolf: The Apocalypse, Earthblood. What do you think, Moody?
75.
75. I'm gonna guess it's gonna get a 72. in before someone goes, "Oh, Amy, you've had the lowest guess all 3 weeks in a row. Whoa, why are you being so negative?"
Someone behind me saying that?
No, that wasn't you. I was mimicking someone watching the podcast.
I've gone low as well. Like 75 ain't the highest ever, ladies and gentlemen. So,
But that's all I'm going to do this year. I'm just going to go lower the moody every single week. I'm not going to do that.
she's lowborn at all times.
I mean, I might do that, but not on purpose, if that makes sense. If that happens, it's not because I'm just going to wait for him to say his number and go lower. Unless Moody starts like giving out, like, I think this is going to get 100.
Well, I'm not the one who rolled dice for a game. Who literally shot really high for the game.
I did nothing. The dice had spoken.
The dice had spoken, huh? The dice had spoken.
The dice had spoken. It wasn't my fault. It was the dice.
That's what they all say. It's not my fault.
It was the dice. The dice did it. That's going to do it for episode 241 of the Words About Games podcast. I don't have anything pithy to say. I released a Hades video this week. It's pretty good.
Little video. It's fun.
It's not a full retrospective. It's just like a 12-minute, I think, essay about God mode. I'm working on my next retrospective. I finished the game, and I have like all the notes, and I'm in the phase of planning it now where I need to organize the notes into chapters. Like actually, like I need to organize the notes so they're coherent.
Yeah.
Because they're not coherent right now. They're literally just stream of consciousness thoughts. I'm also going to need to do some research. So it's like, great.
Research.
So I have to read a bunch of stuff and watch a couple of videos and yeah, it's fun though. I like doing like full proper deep dives. Like the one I'm really looking forward to is Vampire, because eventually I'm going to do Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines because it's a great game. But like, there's at least the first 20 minutes is just going to be about like the development of the game. And like the studio getting shut down and stuff, because the history of the game is just as fascinating as the game itself. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I played Cyber Shadow on Tuesday, and I might play another game before Sunday. It's not going to be the medium.
Don't think I'm going to get the medium either, not because of the reviews or anything like that. It's just because I haven't got it installed yet.
Right. Okay.
And it might take too long to get installed right now.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. So, we out. I've got an early start tomorrow, so I got to get the fuck out of here. We out.
We out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too sweet, Ian. Too sweet.
Oh.